at Pitt and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. Football analyst and commentator Mark May, now on Fox Sports 910.
All right, Mayday joins us down the right to the guest line. Is Oregon the number one team in the land in your mind there, Coach? You got them number one?
Absolutely, I have them number one. And what an honor it is to fill in for Fact and Fooey.
I do. I was hoping you weren't listening. Because even during the break, I go, I shouldn't have said that. Fooey, I mean, come on, Mark May, two-time Super Bowl champion, I'm like, Fooey, offensive line coach, Montana. I mean, come on.
A little tongue-in-cheek there, Mark. You know how it is.
I know. I got you. No, but Oregon is the number one team in the nation. Look at Ohio State and the players that they have on both sides of the ball. They had a top defense in the Big Ten, one of the best defenses in the country, and their offense is filled with just players that are going to be on NFL rosters in the next year or two. So going into that game, they played at home, and if you look at the mistakes that they made in special teams, they left like 4 or 5 points on the board. 2-point conversion, they messed up an extra point. A short field goal they missed. So you look at Oregon, they're a team to be reckoned with, and they deserved it. And the other side of the coin, you can look at Georgia saying going into Texas and beating Texas and thumping them, particularly in the first half like they did, 23-0. They deserve a chance to be at number one, but they've been there for so long the past few years. Give somebody else another opportunity. But, if it all plays out, guys, maybe Georgia and Oregon will be playing for the national championship.
Mark, you talk about Texas, and let's look at Sarkisian over the years. There's always 1 or 2 games where his teams get thumped or something's missing. What is it when you think that they're kind of one of those teams that could go all the way undefeated that's missing, at least in your eyes, when he gets thumped like that?
Well, if you look at the track record, you're absolutely right. But just think about this. Huge emotional game last week in the Red River rivalry just before this game against Oklahoma. They played poorly in the first quarter, but then they came storming back and played Texas football. And then right back after that, you've got Georgia coming into town. And Georgia, you look at the past history, particularly the last couple of years, they're always number one. They're playing for national championships. So they're an SEC championship game. And all of a sudden, you've got those 2 big emotional games for college football players back to back. It's tough to keep guys up like that. If they had a sandwich game in between, you could say, they're getting ready for Georgia, looking forward to Georgia, but they didn't have that opportunity after the Oklahoma game. So coming off of that high emotion of winning the Red River rivalry, I think that they were a little flat coming out of this game.
Well, they had to be because they get shut out, the goose eggs in that first half. But, I mean, even the defense got 3 picks eventually on Beck. But I think to your point, I know the emotion side, they're just kids, right? But we look at that, but we thought that this team was Teflon Don to the emotion this year, didn't you think?
I would think so, the way that they played last year, going to the playoff last year and all the emotions they had last year. But if you look at their offense with Sarkisian, they rarely drop back on first down, straight drop back with the quarterback and throw the football. They move the pocket with their quarterbacks, and they didn't do that in this game. They were dropping back on first down, and that was early in the game before they had such a huge deficit to try to overcome. And that was one of the things I scratched my head because they usually move the pocket with yours to right or left, and you throw those tight end screens and you throw it back to the other side. They didn't do that against Georgia in this game in the first quarter or second quarter. And I'm scratching my head saying, why are they just having them in drop back situations where Georgia can rush the quarterback and put pressure on the quarterback?
Mark May is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Mark, take me to Alabama. Now with 2 losses, they got to be out of the 12-team playoff. Am I all wet here, or is the SEC going to find a way to weasel them in?
Jimmy V, slow your roll, my man.
No kidding, man. I know.
Alabama's in the right place, my friend. You want to know why? Because if they go and run the table for the rest of the season, they don't play in the SEC championship game, they will be 10-2 with their strength of schedule. And you look at the teams they play, not only strength of schedule, but how they played. If they finish off in a good run, they will be in the 12-team playoff, I guarantee you, with 2 losses. Because look at the situation right now. I don't think that there will be an undefeated team at the end of the season. So 2 losses in the SEC or the Big Ten will probably get you into the playoff.
All right, Mark May, let's talk NFL. Let's talk about tonight's game between at least the second game between the Cardinals and the Chargers. Seems like the, Jonathan Gannon way of winning is every other week. So if that's the case, let's just put down a W, right? So you're going to give him a W today?
No, not at all. Think about it. Jim Harbaugh, the way that he wins on Monday night, not just undefeated on Monday nights with 1 or 2. He's 6-0 on Monday nights when he was with the 49ers. He knows how to get his team prepared for these situations. And right now it's his first year. He's laid the foundation. He's built the foundation. Look at what he's done wherever he's been, whether it's been at Stanford, whether it's been at Michigan, whether it's been the 49ers. What he does his first couple of years, he lays the foundation and builds it. You run the ball. You stop the run. You don't do stupid pre-snap penalties, and you're physical on both sides of the ball. That's what the Chargers are right now. You look at their defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL. They don't give up a lot of points, less than 14 points a game. And you look at they've got their offensive line back intact right now. Those big offensive tackles, former first-round picks. What they will do is they will grind you down to a bloody nub, and they will beat you every time, particularly in the fourth quarter. That's what Harbaugh does. And if you look at right now, their only weakness is their defensive secondary, because you're going to have a lot of backups right now, and you're going to have a lot of former players that are basically rookies playing in the first year in their defensive secondary. If the Cardinals can get it going, they can find a way to throw the ball against them if they can protect Kyler Murray. That's going to be the big key. They've got to keep Khalil Mack out of the situation. They've got to make sure that Khalil Mack can't get to their quarterback, Kyler Murray, and find a way to protect him. That's the only way the Cardinals find a way to win. But if I'm betting this game, because you guys right now, you're in a place where you can bet games right now, guess what? The sports book, take the tease. Tease the Ravens, you get 2 points. Tease the Chargers, you get 5 points.
Ooh.
So that's your bet of the week.
Oh, look at you.
All right, so let me ask you if it doesn't go through there, Mark.
Is there a rebate?
Do I keep the receipt or what?
No, if it falls through, send the bill to Fooey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark, it's interesting you bring that up. That Harbaugh's whole philosophy, let's ground and pound. Don't make mistakes. It's okay to punt. Let's not turn it over. But there's this kid named Justin Herbert. If for any reason the Cardinals do shut them down, everybody's like, the kid can throw the hell out of the ball. He's still a special talent.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to cut him loose. Give him a chance to throw the ball. J.K. Dobbins has done a great job running the football for the Chargers. And if you look at Justin Herbert, 6 touchdowns, one interception on the season. He's got great numbers. He's doing a great job, but he's not throwing the ball for a lot of yards and not throwing the ball with a lot of opportunities, because what they're doing is they're running the ball, controlling the clock, winning with their defense, and he's not making mistakes, as I said before. But here's the other thing with Justin Herbert. He's had that foot injury. He's still not 100%, I don't think. So I would protect him as much as possible. I think that's what Harbaugh's philosophy is. Let's get him back to 100%, then we'll cut him loose. This may be the time that they do that. But if you go back and look at his history at Michigan, at the 49ers, at Stanford, they run the ball and they're physical early, and they have always had good quarterbacks. Once they turn them loose and they throw the ball and stretch the field and throw the ball vertically, they do a terrific job at that. They don't do it a lot, but when they do it, they're really good at it.
You know, Mark, the Packers game, I thought the Packers defense or front seven did the best job of keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket and not allowing big plays with his legs. You know, and you and I both know it's a copycat league, but do you think that the Chargers will pretty much adhere to a lot of the same? And what was it in your eyes that kept Kyler Murray at bay in that Packer game?
I think it was a great job by the secondary of making sure that the wide receivers never got open, first and foremost. And when Kyler did run, they always had somebody on him that was close to him to put pressure on him. The problem is with their offensive line, they're all beaten and banged up on both sides of the ball, their offensive and defensive lines. That's where I think the Chargers will take advantage of this, and they'll wear the Cardinals out sooner or later. But the offensive line has to find a way to protect Kyler Murray in this game. Because if Joey Bosa is questionable in this game with a hip injury, if he goes, huge advantage, Chargers. If he doesn't go, they've got to find a way to block Khalil Mack.
I want to take you to your former team. When Mark played, they were the Redskins. They're the Commanders now. How do you see the Commanders, and as quickly as they have turned things around? Look, I know Jaden Daniels got dinged a little bit with the rib injury yesterday, but Marcus Mariota came in and performed admirably. How good are the Commanders in your estimation, Mark?
They should win the division. And the reason why is Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff is in his wheelhouse now. He's got the quarterback that he wants. He doesn't have the pressure of being a head coach. And for Dan Quinn, he is the head coach, but Cliff Kingsbury is really stirring the straw. He's the guy that's stirring the drink with the straw, because the reason why, not only running the ball effectively, but throwing the ball effectively and taking huge leads. This team has the biggest point differential of winning points and losing points of anybody in the NFL, and they're doing it. They're running away from teams right now. And if everybody looks at them and say, well, they're not really that good, they haven't beaten anybody, look how close they played at the Baltimore Ravens 2 games ago.
And how
they
about
played them right to the end, and they should have and possibly could have won that game. And look at Marcus Mariota comes in as a backup, and still they roll over Carolina.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, how valuable is it for these backup quarterbacks nowadays that you have a solid backup quarterback? Look what Flacco did till Richardson came back for the Colts, and look what he did last year. But, I mean, Mariota, to your point, Mark, he came in, didn't miss a beat. So what a great position for him to be in, just in case they do call his number for more snaps.
Absolutely, and he's the perfect fit for Cliff Kingsbury offense because he's big, he's tall, he can make plays with his arms, but he can also make plays with his legs. Even at his age right now, and he's still very active and a good athletic quarterback. They're in a great situation. A lot of teams don't have a number one quarterback. Think about that. Last year, over 55 quarterbacks played in the NFL. I think it was closer to 60 because of injuries. And a lot of them didn't play well. You look around the NFL right now, when you get down to your second team and you look at Miami playing their third team quarterback, right now they have no shot at making the playoffs. But if you've got a good backup quarterback, you look at the Atlantas, you look at the Washingtons, guys that can come in and play at a high level and keep the ship afloat, they've got chances to get to the playoffs and win playoff games with those type of quarterbacks.
Mark, you played on championship teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers put the hurting on the Jets last night. You've been in locker rooms. You were with the guys. When they made the decision, when Mike Tomlin made the decision to start Russell Wilson, how would that locker room react? And then how does it react after the way Russell Wilson played?
Well, the first thing, you don't want to have a split locker room. The same thing happened with us in Washington when we had Mark Rippon and Doug Williams, and Rip was the starter, and then Doug became the starter during the season and took us to the Super Bowl and won. You have to have a united front in the locker room that you're on the same page with the head coach, because the head coach will come and talk to the team so he will know and let the team know everybody needs to be on the same page with this before it gets out to the media. This is what we're doing. Get on board. And that's what happens with the Steelers. You look at Mike Tomlin, one heck of a leader as a head coach, and I guarantee he informed his team in advance, this is the way we're going. This is a team sport, guys. We're trying to win games, as many games as possible. We will probably use both quarterbacks during the season because one may get dinged up, one may not play well. We may have to insert Justin Fields again, but guess what? Right now, this is our leader. Get behind him. If you don't get behind him, you're going to be kicked off the ship.
Mark, thank you, buddy, as always, and we'll make sure, you get Fooey's check for today, okay? Yeah. So we'll make sure we send that your way, all right?
I'm buying, guys.
You got it. You're the best. That's Mark May joining us here on Rock Manooch with Jimmy B. Coming up, we need a challenger. Take on Tim Hovik from Santan Ford. He's going to call us from Iceland.
Amazing.
Yeah, part of our Trophy Bar partnership, as that's where we're normally on Mondays. But today we're at DraftKings. Still go down there and watch the Cardinals if you're down in that area. If not, come out and join us. Take caller number 5 at 602-260-9191, 260-9191, and we will be asking you for the score of tonight's Monday night game. We need the score of tonight's Monday night, the team that's going to win, and the score. And if you beat him, you will win a $25 gift card from the Trophy Bar. So take fifth caller, 602-260-9191. Tim Hovik next here on Fox Sports 910.
Looking for the ultimate hangout? Welcome to the Trophy Bar in downtown Ocotillo, where epic sports, stunning cars, and ice-cold drinks meet fabulous food and specialty cocktails.